boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Give me a moment for the TikTok feed. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all you folks. This one Friday before Christmas. It is indeed the last Friday, with Christmas being on a Monday. We're going to come in and ask the simple question because this is starting to make the news wires. Certainly shocking information coming out of the Great Lakes state of Michigan. Many of you folks, I'm certain, have heard this by now, but it leads to me titling the program, "What exactly happened in 2020? Many folks would suggest that the election was swiped by President Biden. Nevertheless, there seems to be an ongoing chorus of folks that were operating on behalf of Trump being either indicted for doing suspicious stuff or outright admitting it in court. Someone says no sound, so I do got to figure out, okay, let me know if you can hear the sound. The whole program, I may need to start over. You guys let me know if you can actually hear the sound. I believe I started it out. Okay, I didn't know you could even turn the damn audio off, but we're talking about 2020. Asking that question, what happened in 2020? Mr. Mark, appreciate that on YouTube, but we're talking about TikTok, but I do appreciate the comment, Mr. Mark. What happened in 2020? Folks on the right are overwhelmingly suggesting that on behalf of Biden, the liberals stole the election. The liberals cheated. Ballot stuffing, folks who were deceased casting ballots, folks who had no right to vote, felons, talk about the Dominion machines. However, it should be noted, and we're talking about what happened in the Great Lake state of Michigan. How many members of the Trump camp, either working directly for the president or on behalf of the president, on behalf of his campaign, his administration, are either being indicted for voter improprieties or outright pleading guilty to it? So what I want to ask is, what the hell happened in 2020? Did the Democrats cheat, or was it the other way around? Because now what has come out, not completely verified, but I believe the Detroit Free Press News verified it, President Trump himself talking to low-level campaign staffers, telling them not to certify the election. I have to ask you folks, why would the President of the United States be on the phone talking to a campaign staffer, not an administrator, not a manager, just a regular campaign staffer, telling them not to certify votes? How does that work? Is that not interference? Is that okay? Is that normal where the president actually phones folks at the lower levels? And by the way, we have to ask the obvious question. If you were working at a polling place and the president of the United States was on the phone telling you not to sign off on something, what would you do? Now, according to the news reports, the RNC chairwoman over there in Michigan, Ronna McDaniel, also told the lower level campaign folks to not sign the certification papers and actually offered to get them a lawyer. At the time, President Trump was also on the phone and quote unquote stated, "We will take care of it. Don't do the certification. If there's any trouble, we'll get you a lawyer." And then Trump backs up and says, "We will take care of it." How does that work? Is that okay? I want to ask you folks, do you see any issue at all with something like that happening? As always, the program is forever will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guest. I would love to hear from you on this one today, hear your take. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You know how the program works. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000. We got 100 or so in you in here. I assume TikTok is slowing it down or whatever because of the audio problems, but hopefully that will correct itself. So I ask that you tap the screen. Looking in the comments, maybe they thought something needs to be rechecked. RMG, I don't disagree with the possibility that folks on the Republican side of the aisle thought something needed to be rechecked. But is this the process to do it? Where you have someone with as high as an amount of pressure as the president calling a low-level campaign staffer. Do you see any pressuring from doing something like that at all? Is that the normal procedure? I mean, imagine if Joe Biden called a campaign staffer and told them not to sign something, and you would get them a lawyer. If it's not an issue with what you're doing, why are you offering to get somebody an attorney? If this is okay for me to do, I shouldn't need an attorney. Be like if the police stopped to ask you some questions and then suggested, do you need an attorney? Well, what am I about to be charged with? I thought this was a friendly conversation. Why the hell are you telling me about a lawyer? Going straight to the box. I'm questioning this because something I think is worthy of asking. Is this normal? My definite subscriber there, Jess Peachy. Appreciate you coming on. Trying to find out what happened. Is this normal? Is this acceptable? Jess Peachy, good afternoon.
Well, you know what? I was going to say that, first off, I want all Americans to unite. I don't mind MAGA. I really don't. My concern is the evidence is there, handsome, okay? And get behind another candidate, MAGA.
Wait. The evidence is there of what?
We have tapes, we have voice recordings with Michigan now that's coming out, with Georgia, which I'm from Georgia, and I know MAGA. I know some MAGA folks, and we have legitimate, wonderful conversations where I say, why do you feel that way? And what we need to do as Americans is say, okay, well, we have this evidence, so what do we do about it? What do we do as Americans?
But I still gotta get clarity. The evidence, hang on. I gotta get clarity though. The evidence is there of what?
Okay, so we have enough evidence. First off, I'm just going to broadly say this, for 91 indictments and more coming down from Michigan. That is going to come, okay? We have evidence of fake electors, all right? And now we have a tape from Michigan that's worse than the Georgia tape. Now Michigan is considering removing Donald Trump from the ballot. Do I agree with removing people from the ballot? No, I don't. I really don't. However, I don't know what more MAGA needs to see, man. What more do they need to see? If they read the indictment, they would be horrified. They would be concerned. And maybe they should consider another candidate for change.
Now, it's interesting. It's interesting you say, now, Ella Faye Davis, it's interesting you said it, because Ella Faye Davis in the comments is saying, at some point you have to stop being willfully blind. It almost sounds like you guys are saying the same thing there.
But you have to understand, though, I think what MAGA has to understand is they're in their feelings, and they've listened to what Donald Trump has said over and over and over again. I made that mistake with Bill Clinton. I made that mistake. Okay. When I found out that he lied, it didn't matter what it was for. I said, I'm done. I'm done with you, because you lied to the American people straight out on camera. We have evidence of tapes of Donald Trump trying to get, especially in Coffee County, Georgia, but more specifically in Michigan, okay, where he's literally saying and threatening them, if you do not have or support me, this could be bad for your career. People are going to come after your career, things like that. That's not okay. As Americans, we need to unite and say, what is the role of a president? And understand that Biden nor Trump ever controls the purse. The executive branch does not do that. So they want to talk about Ukraine and all this money. He does not control that. So my whole thing is, I don't know what more MAGA needs to just take a breath and say,
Let me present it to you. Let me rephrase.
We're
Let me
not against you. We
let
just
me
want you to listen to the evidence and quit listening to what Donald Trump is telling you.
Okay.
And take a look at
let's pursue that.
man.
Let's pursue that. Let's say
Man.
for shits and giggles. Let's say I am MAGA and I'm looking at you and I'm telling you I don't like what Biden is doing. Give me the evidence why I should go with Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, or someone else. Tell me what evidence there
When you
is.
say that, handsome, I would say, why? What is it specifically that you do not like? So that's the first thing. It's just ask them, what do you not like? Okay, so if I were to ask you that, handsome, and I'm going to turn the tables on you, love.
Fair enough.
You come up to me, because I've had them come up to me, and I say, what is it that you don't like? So you tell me, as you're pretending, let's say you're MAGA.
Okay,
You
we can
tell
do
me
this.
what it is that you don't like
Okay, fair enough.
about Biden.
I don't like what's going on at the border. I don't like the fact that these immigrants are all over the country. I don't like that you guys are okay with late-term abortions. I don't like that you want to take away my gun rights. I don't like the economy. Should I keep going?
Okay, so then you address them point by point. First off, I would show them videos of the border. There is not a border crisis. What are you watching on TV? Where are you getting your source of information? Another thing, the economy that you mentioned. What's your source of information? One of the bigger things I get that you did not mention is Donald Trump didn't start any wars. And I say, well, we didn't start any wars either. We did not start any wars. It's policy right now. American policy has been for 75 years to support Israel. That's just policy. Biden cannot go in and change policy. That's up to the legislative branch. So a lot of times, handsome, I'm saying that's not up to the executive branch. That's up to your legislature. So contact your local legislators and tell them how you feel.
Okay, so my response to this is, you asked me if I'm MAGA, what I don't like about Biden. Me giving you my points and just simply telling me all of your feelings on this stuff is wrong is not going to convince me to switch
But
votes.
I didn't tell you they were wrong.
Well,
I just told you. First off, basically, let me put this, I hear you, but are you aware who controls the legislative branch? Are you aware who controls the purse? And I only had one MAGA, and this was like a week ago, that said, yes, it's a legislative branch. I was like, way to go. So let's look at the legislative branch. Let's talk about it. And their concern when it boiled down to was senility, that Biden was too old. And I said, well, I get that. He is old, but so is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, so you have to find common ground first.
Okay, well, let me go further. Tim Beers on YouTube, we run it on YouTube simultaneously, makes a great comment. Under Trump, my wallet was fatter.
Mine, okay, I will say, why was it, how was it fatter?
With money!
But they're totally leaving out the pandemic and the supply chain. They're leaving out the fact that businesses shut down and couldn't get us products. We're leaving out the gas. We're leaving out remember, places that bring products to America, literally, handsome, I would say to you, shut down because they had sick workers. So we're not able to produce, and we had to pay the price for that.
Listen, I just want to say, I get the points you're making, but for most voters, perception is reality. Like, for instance, I mentioned the border, and you said there's not really an issue. And like Apple in the comments says, she said there is no border issue. That's an insult. You realize how many liberals in places like Chicago and some of these liberal cities in New York
that's not a border. Wait. I would say to you, but is that a border state?
Where are they coming from?
We need to ask Texas, Arizona. We need to ask the border states.
Well, just peachy. So, if we go to Texas and ask them why all these immigrants are in our city of New York, they're going to say because they came across the border and we sent them to you. There is a border problem.
Who sent them there? But I would say, who sent them there?
The guy who was being forced to deal with all of them is who sent them there. Abbott, DeSantis.
Okay, but if you go to, living in Texas for 2 years, like I did, we went to the border. We went to the border when Fox News was claiming all this, and there's nothing there. It is quiet as quiet can be.
Nobody's just peachy. Nobody's buying that. I get what you're saying. I get what you say.
Where are you getting your information? That's the first thing that I want to know. And I would let you speak. And I would say, for me personally, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
My grandparents are from Ireland. Okay. And they faced the same discrimination when they came over here with the same political argument. Okay, they really did. We're repeating this. This is nothing new. Yes, we have border issues. We do. We do.
So we do. Now you're admitting we do have border issues.
Oh yeah, we have border issues, but not into the volume that it's talking about. Because I don't want to bring up, and I wouldn't bring up to you children being in cages, because I think that was kind of a political prop as well. But I would just say to you, what exact problems? And most of the time, you give, if you were MAGA, they're taking my jobs. And I go, okay, which jobs? I'm trying to ask you.
You can't, Peachy, just Peachy. Listen, let me just say this, just Peachy. Even if everything you're saying is true, the voters are not buying this. It's like with Trump. Trump says I've done more for black people than any president in history. Even if you think that's true, most black people are not buying it. People are not buying that the border doesn't have the problems you say. They're not buying your description of what's going on at the border. People are just not buying that. You're not going to sell that.
I get it. But the important thing, I think, as Americans, we need to look at, there's been a border crisis even when Trump was in president. Remember
the migrants?
Yeah, and the pictures, all these people.
Yeah.
And you know what? In presidential election years, historically, that's what they do. Yeah. That's what they do. So I would say, have you thought about maybe like writing your senator or congressman and asking them why Mexico is letting them come up from Central America? Because they're not Mexican immigrants. They're coming from Central America.
And I would respond, if I'm MAGA, I would respond, if we had Trump in office, I wouldn't have to write these people because we had a president that was actually trying to do something about it. I got to move it on, but I'll give you the last word.
All right. I just want to say that I want all of us as Americans to just take a look at the evidence, and as much as it hurts our heart, whether you support Biden or whether you support Donald Trump or whatever, there are better Republican candidates out there like Nikki Haley, whose points I agree with. And I just think it comes a time where you have to let go and think of our country first. And I would bid you all due respect, even if you were MAGA.
All right.
I really would.
Fair point.
So thank you, love, and you have a wonderful holiday.
100% Merry Christmas to you as well.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, thank you. Okay, moving the program on. I don't know what the hell they just did to the screen here. Hey, just Peachy, go ahead and drop because something is going on wrong over here.
I'm gonna try. I'm trying.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I got it. I found it. Okay, all right. Moving the program on. You said Trump is the best candidate. Period. Says Charlie. Well, and you saw what was going on with the last guest, whereas I was doing the devil's advocate, playing the MAGA side of the crowd. This is why I tell folks all the time. I can see the good and bad in both sides. I can see where a lot of folks on the right have valid points and folks on the left. But the whole purpose of today's program is asking what happened during the 2020 election. Because folks on the right are saying that Biden, the Democrats, stole the election, but yet we are constantly having so many folks on the right actually being indicted for election fraud or even pleading guilty to it. What came out of Michigan is that President Trump actually got on the phone with a low-level campaign staffer, the President of the United States, on the phone with an entry-level employee telling them not to sign off on a certification, indicating it could destroy their career and things like that, with the RNC spokeswoman, Ronna McDaniel, on the phone saying, you know, don't sign off on this. We'll get you a lawyer. And Trump saying, yeah, we'll handle that. Is the president of the United States supposed to be on the phone with somebody in the middle of an election telling them what to and not to sign? How does that work? Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 15,000. We got nearly 700 of you in here now. I do appreciate that. Program is and always will be MAGA friendly. Understand, although we talk politics, we keep it civilized, we're not here to tell you what you want to hear. We're here to listen to what you have to say. So it's a different type of program. Going to the box, we'll keep it moving with another one of my subscribers, my bullshits, who tore me a new one tore me a new one. I got to talk to my bosses. It didn't tell me you were a subscriber. I didn't know that. You tore me a new one, but welcome to the program. Good to have you on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you not making me wait an hour just to let me know your lunch break's over, you know?
I didn't listen. I do give my subscribers, a few I have, a little bit of extra leeway. I didn't know, it didn't tell me that, but there was dozens of folks in there. But I want to ask you, what happened in the 2020 election? Why are there so many folks on the Trump side of the aisle being indicted and being actually convicted of election fraud?
I think the level of election fraud that people are being charged with happens all the time on both sides of the aisle, and it's just finally, well, here, if you want to run your mouth about it, you're going to face a charge.
So wait a minute. So if it's happening on both sides and you're willing to admit, how can Trump say the Democrats stole it if we're able to show, look, both sides was cheating?
Yeah, it's my personal opinion that the suspicion comes from the left's entire attitude of nothing to see here, folks. Just move it along. And it's like, when people always go, 70 plus times the court's looked at it, and they don't want to address the fact that, I can't sue you on your friend's behalf. Your friend has to sue you. That's why a lot of those cases were thrown out. Now, there were a couple genuine ones that were filed properly by the Trump camp that were thrown out also. Fair enough. But the idea that, if I hold all the files, and I'm not letting you look at the files, and I tell you you're just a conspiracy theorist, that's...
Yeah, but it's happening. But it's happening in Republican states as well. Georgia had a Republican governor, and they found that Trump's side of the aisle was using fake electors. How do you look at that?
Yeah, and I'll be forthcoming. I haven't dug deep enough into it because I don't think that there was the type of election fraud that a lot of, your fucking crazy right wingers are, saying that, like, millions upon millions and millions, right? Of course, it's suspicious when I'm in Arizona. It's suspicious when in certain states, we can count the vote overnight and it just totally swings. And then in Arizona, it takes us 2 or 3 fucking months to count our vote. I look at it this way. If nobody is allowed to speak on it if you don't have all of the facts, so we need to just move to a different subject, right? Because none of us, me and you, have all of the facts, and you have to give credit to anybody, left, right, whatever, who says there is suspicious activity going on both sides of the aisle when it comes to elections.
Yeah, but these people are pleading guilty to. We're not talking about suspicious activity. They actually are admitting it in court. In your state, in Arizona, for instance, another state where they had fake electors, they're pleading guilty to it.
Yeah, and I think these dudes who are getting, and we'll talk about somebody pleading guilty in just a second. I think people who plead guilty to these things have a lot bigger fucking things going on in their world, and this is a slap on the wrist, and they'll take it and move on with their life. Hopefully you don't mind me sort of segueing the conversation, but it goes into the elections. Have you heard of a guy named Charles McGonigal?
No.
Oh, that's not surprising because the left is not going to make sure.
I watch a lot of right-wing media, though. I haven't heard them talk about on Fox or none of that either.
Okay. Well, Charles McGonigal, he is the FBI agent who is the one who sent the text message to Jennifer Boone that the FISA warrant application on Carter Page could leak to the public, and that's a big concern for them, right? He's the FBI agent who pushed the Russian collusion case, right?
Okay, all right. I have heard of him. All right, keep going.
Did you know that he just pled guilty and is going to be sentenced to 50 months for, guess what? Russian collusion.
No, I didn't hear that. But here's a crazy thing, though.
So, and what I'm getting at is, he's accused of some very serious crimes that could probably carry a lot more than 50 months. I'll take my 50 months and I'll move on with my life. I think that's where you're seeing a lot of these pleas.
But are they pleading to get a lesser sentence, or are they pleading to crimes they didn't commit?
I don't think anybody from a congressman on up is innocent of anything. Okay. I think if you want to dig enough, you're going to find some kind of felony charge.
So let me make it clear with all these, because these aren't Congress people, these fake electors. Do you think any of these fake electors that are pleading guilty are actually innocent and just doing it to save face?
Oh, hell no. But what I'm saying is, if they're offered a 12, 24 month, whatever, a fine, ankle monitor, probation, this, that, and the other, I'd rather take that than you dig even deeper and then you find out that I'm taking money from China or Russia or whoever, and that carries a 20-year.
I don't disagree with that, but you do realize in the course of this conversation, you're admitting that the folks on the right that are pleading guilty were cheating. So I'm going back to my original question, and if there is enough cheating on the right, where is Trump saying he won by a landslide when we can show there's a ton of cheating on the right as well? Why is he saying he won by a landslide?
You're not going to hear me defend his statement on that. I think he totally fucking blew it in 2020, and I think the left did a good job helping him blow it, and exacerbated things that maybe weren't as bad. They played good politics, but Trump did himself no favors in 2020.
Do you think he was wrong to say he won by a landslide?
Yes.
So he called all these people to D.C. on January 6th to tell them something that you believe was wrong to tell them, and you do realize a lot of mayhem happened from that wrong statement. Does he have any responsibility for it?
Well, I mean, if I'm in his shoes, right, and everybody's been thrilled with me, even some people on the left have been thrilled with me for the last 3 years, and then you see something that's blown out of proportion. No, he didn't handle COVID well, but don't get me wrong, I think the left totally fucking capitalized on it politically to get him out of office, and they were willing to fucking burn down shit. They were willing to tank the economy in order to get the White House.
Now let me make sure I get clarity, because people on YouTube are like, stop splitting hairs, Trump won. You are MAGA, right? You did vote for Trump both times, correct?
I'm not MAGA, but I voted for Trump both times, yeah.
Do you think he's the best guy for 2024?
I don't have a better guy in mind. I've been displeased with our choices ever since I've been a voter.
Out of the four current choices, Christie, Haley, DeSantis, and Trump, who do you favor? That's not good. That sigh is not good.
I'm just being honest. These people who would just say Trump, fuck it, move on, yeehaw, right? Let's be realistic. There's a lot of fucking baggage that comes with Trump right now. And even if he would be the best commander in chief, there would still be that remaining division, whether it's his fault or it's the left's fault and media's fault. Is it the best move for the country? And the answer is, I don't know. Now, it sucks that the alternative is Chris fucking Christie.
What about Vivek? I forgot Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, for me, with him, I think as long as he would do what he's saying, great, but it's one of those sounds too good to be true things. But to be fair, at this point, the reason Trump got elected is because we kept on doing the same thing over and over and over, hoping for a different result. So we said, fuck it, let's try someone else.
Well, in regards to what you said about Vivek, if he would do what he said, and you said, to be honest, it sounds too good to be true, then you moved on and said the reason Trump got elected. And I was going to say the reason Trump got elected is because he also promised stuff that was too good to be true, like draining the swamp, and Mexico's going to somehow pay for the wall.
And I'm glad you reminded me of that, because you always bring that up, and it's like, well, there's a lot of stuff Biden has said he was going to do that hasn't happened.
We don't brag about Biden. The liberals are not like, yay, Biden. We're begging for another choice.
They say he's one of the best presidents ever. He has the most bipartisanship capabilities, right? He's the ultimate diplomat. He's passed, what do they always say? Infrastructure bill, CHIPS Act, PACT Act. And it's funny because I didn't know the left cared about veterans. They can't name me another pro-veteran bill, but they can tell you about the PACT Act, right? But I remember Biden said, first of all, he said, don't take that vaccine. Then I remember him saying he was going to cure cancer.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I will repeat what I said. The way the liberals favor Biden going into 2024 is not even remotely close to the way Republicans favor Trump. If we actually had choices, Biden wouldn't be beating them by 50-something points if they were a true liberal. Robert Kennedy or whatever his name, he's not a, go ahead.
You already know that Biden's not going to be on the general ticket. Right now, the left already knows it will be Gavin Newsom. They're just not announcing it yet because they don't want to give them all the time in the world to beat up on Newsom. It'll be a last minute, hey, my health just doesn't allow me to run, and 3 months of campaigning for Newsom, and that's who they're going to put up.
Wow.
They are not putting up Biden.
I gotta move it on, but it's interesting you say that because Bill O'Reilly is actually betting people money for saying the same thing that Biden is not going to be on the ticket. Wow. Gavin Newsom, huh? All right.
And real quick, that didn't even come from O'Reilly because I haven't watched him since he was on Fox News. I think he's maybe got a radio show or whatever now.
Yeah.
That for me just comes from, he's over there debating DeSantis. When has somebody ever debated when they don't plan on running? It doesn't make sense.
I don't argue with that. Appreciate it. And like I said, my apologies. I didn't see that last time, but all right, appreciate you coming on.
You're good, man. Have a great day.
You too. All right, moving the program on. For some reason, I'm trying to move it on, but I'm having problems with this. Go ahead and drop out, boss. For some reason, this damn thing is acting funny. All right, looking in the comments, Newsom still has business messing it up for us Californians. Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, and I'll go back to the box, and I do appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. I don't know why this mute microphone keeps coming up, but in regards to suggesting that Newsom is screwing up California so he wouldn't be a good president, understand that the overwhelming majority of liberals would be voting out of hatred for Trump, not love of Biden or love of Newsom. Pointing out what Newsom has done in California is not likely to increase the Trump votes because the overwhelming majority of people who are voting Democrat are going to be voting against Trump. They're not voting for the Democrat. That's why when folks ask, how the hell did Biden get more votes than Obama and all these millions of votes? They're not Biden votes, folks. They're not votes for Biden. I've said this many times. When the 2020 election happened, there were actually 3 spots on the ballot. You could vote for Trump, you could check off a box for Biden, or you could check off a box that says, I'm not a big Biden fan, but I hate Trump. That box didn't exist in reality. But if that box, I'm not voting for Biden, but I hate Trump, if that box existed, it would have gotten millions of votes. Those votes, due to the lack of existence of that box, went to Biden by default. That's why Biden got so many votes, is the hidden I don't like Trump vote that folks pretend did not exist. Looking in the comments, Tony says hate kills. Yeah, I think I got a few ancestors that might agree with that. Going to the box, you are right on that. People hate Trump. He is a dangerous guy. Wow, yikes. I vote for SpongeBob. We had a guy running, what was his name? It was some comedy name like that. I can't even think of it, but it was something like that, some weird like that. That box still exists, but now it's for Trump and scares liberals. I don't think so. I think the people that vote for Trump really like the way Trump was running the country. I don't think you're going to have a lot of liberals with a liberal mindset saying that, look, I don't like Trump, but I hate Biden more. Certainly now that this country has went further into its corners, the left is going more progressive. The right is going further to the right, particularly with abortion. If you are a liberal, you're not going to go vote for something that is completely against your principles like that now. The parties have really went further to their corners. I don't believe you're going to have a lot of anti-Democrat or anti-Biden Democrats voting Trump. But I could be wrong. It happened with the Bernie Sanders folks. Going back to the box with my other subscribers, Andy, welcome to the program. What happened in 2020? What the hell took place in 2020 with so many folks on the right now looking to be caught up. We see what's happening in Michigan, where President Trump was actively calling a campaign staffer. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, Trump told people before the 2016 election that one was going to be stolen. Then the man had a voting integrity committee that met exactly twice and did nothing to shore up, making sure.
Yeah, but it's a difference. It's a difference between being worried that the liberals are going to steal the election, as opposed to having your people try to steal it themselves.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, though. He had always planned to do that. That's why he said in 2016 they're going to steal the election. And then he said, I'm going to have a voter integrity group put together to make it look like he was trying to do something about it, when in reality, he wasn't trying at all.
Wow. So what you're saying, so let me make sure I get clarity. So what you're saying is that President Trump, while stating he was going to make sure the election was held fairly, was secretly trying to put in people that, as opposed to trying to make sure we had a fair election, were secretly trying to swing it towards him?
Yeah. Look at what, I mean, a month before the election, we have a tape of Steve Bannon saying that, you know, Trump knows that the Democrats are going to vote by mail, so get the vote in early, and then he's going to come out in the middle of the night while he's ahead, because he knows his people went in early, and say the election was stolen.
He did say
And
that.
he won.
Steve Bannon did come out and say October 31st.
Before the election.
Yeah, 5 days before the election. He actually is on tape saying if Trump is losing, he's just going to say it was stolen and then go into blaming Hunter Biden for everything. He did say that. So,
and in 2016, before he ever got elected, he kept saying, if I lose this election, it's because they stole it from me. And I mean, but if you're saying this prior to the election, it makes you look fishy. And they don't complain about the down ballot at all. You know, first of all, if Democrats were smart enough to steal the election and not leave their fingerprints on it anywhere, we would have stolen the down ballot. We would have 60 senators and not 51.
that is a good point. That is an excellent point. And I've asked that before as well. If the Democrats stole the election, why wouldn't they steal the Senate and Congress? I mean, if folks will say that, like you point out, they can do it somehow with such precision that they only stole the presidency and let Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and all these folks keep their job. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. And you think about the fact that not only that, you know, why would we not steal enough to put through legislation? Real legislation.
Yeah.
Not that Biden hadn't gotten a ton done with them opposing him. And the new Senate, you know, the new House, how much legislation have they written? What are they going to go back and tell their constituents?
Yeah. I don't.
That we had a Jim Jordan at the height of hypocrisy is running a weaponization of government committee while he is, almost 600 days from not showing up from his own congressional subpoena?
Yeah, but they're suggesting the liberals are the ones that are weaponizing the government, though, Andy.
But we didn't, it wasn't our FBI.
Yeah.
It was Trump's FBI. It was Trump's DOJ. It was Trump's Attorney General. I mean, I don't see how they can blame this on the Democrats when in Georgia it's Republicans testified against him. And January 6th, it's still Republicans testified against him. Now, don't get me wrong, we're enjoying the show.
Well, I mean, just for shits and giggles, I'll play devil's advocate on the other side. The issue is when you point to all these Republicans that are testifying against Trump, they do believe they're rhinos or they're bought and paid off or they're writing book deals. Mike Pence wanted to be president. So they believe these folks have a vested interest in going against Trump.
Okay, let me put it this way. If you only believe one man and everybody else that says anything against him is a rhino or illogical, you're in a cult.
You're not making this easy at all.
I mean, you just saw, if you're following one man, you don't believe anybody else. Liz Cheney voted 98% conservative rating. and she's a rhino? Really?
Well,
DJ
listen.
Daughter, the man who shot somebody in the face while hunting and got away with it? I'm just saying.
All right, you beat my ass enough today. I gotta go. I can't argue with you. I
See you.
can't.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, absolute Merry Christmas to you as well. I'll catch you on the next one. Wow. All right, going back to the box. And I do appreciate you folks that are following the program. For you new folks, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, this is the right place. Follow the program. We don't block, ban, or censor free speech in any way. So understand, if you disagree with yours truly, someone in the comments, whatever, we don't give a damn. We will allow you to speak when you're on. Not going to censor or limit your time in any way, fashion, or form. When you come here, we don't tell you what you want to hear. We're here to hear what you got to say. Looking in the comments, I do appreciate those that are following. She has zero understanding of how feds operate. Yeah! C. Osby, thank you for the hat and mustache. Shout out to you. In regards to how the feds operate, I think the biggest issue, and tap the screen, folks. I haven't been asking for that. Get your boy up to 30,000. We got 800 plus of you in here. Tap the screen. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Program is always MAGA friendly. In regards to the feds, I think the problem that Trump is facing is that he came on the scene and promised to drain the swamp. And then after spending 4 years in office, he's admitting that all of these major administrations under him are loaded with swamp creatures. So it does go back to, didn't you promise to correct this? You're making it sound like all of your own agencies were bad. You've had Obama leave, you've had Bush leave. They didn't complain that their own agencies were bad. So just based on what's coming from Trump himself, it almost sounds like the swamp got worse under him, as if he didn't drain anybody. Actually, even some of the people he brought, the Mike Pences, the Attorney General Barr, Ambassador Bolton, you're claiming that even the people you brought with you are swamp creatures. So regardless of how you feel about Trump, you love him, you hate him, you got to hold him to account, because he's going around saying promises made, promises kept. What about that swamp thing? Looking in the box, we'll keep it moving, and we'll go straight to the beard of truth. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. So many folks on the right, of all places, pleading guilty, getting indicted for election fraud. Now comes Michigan. Trump is on the phone with election staffers. Does any of this make sense? The beard of truth. Good afternoon.
It's a big circus. Oh, and good afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
And,
you too.
all that. But it is. It's a big circus.
Well, let's start with the ringmaster. President Trump is on the phone to an election staffer with the chairman, the RNC chairman, Ronna McDaniel, telling them not to sign the election certification, with the RNC chairman telling this person, don't worry, we'll get you a lawyer, and Trump following up and saying, yeah, we'll take care of that. Why is somebody so high on the phone with somebody so low, giving them orders to what to do in the middle of an election?
Okay. They didn't do the thing is that there are certain things that people were supposed to do that didn't do, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to that. Such as Mike Pence, who is the certifier of the election. If there is fraud, if there's suspected fraud, they're supposed to have a 10-day pause. They're not supposed to certify.
Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff going around about this.
All right.
So, who likes
But here's the problem, though. On that phone call, President Trump is talking about dead people voting, mentioned the fact that you got more people, or better, you got more votes than you actually have citizens. And they're stating that these claims are unfounded and they're not true. They're claiming that in the state of Michigan, there is not more voters than people. So he was telling her not to certify the election because of problems that existed that have come out that didn't exist.
Well, part of it also, you do realize that we haven't cleaned up our voter rolls. Our voter registries are so outdated. That's part of the problem. They're not getting rid of the ineligibles, people who've been deceased, and this and that. there's problems with our system from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, but let me respond to that. In 2015, Trump coming down the escalator, one of the first things he said when he announced he was running for president is he said it's rigged. It's all rigged. Then he won in 2016, served for 4 years. While he was president, why not fix that stuff? You told us ahead of time the election was rigged. You win office and do nothing to fix the rigged election. And then when you lose, you point out a problem that you told us about when we voted you in. Do you not hold him accountable for that? Is that not him dropping the ball on what turned out to be his own problem?
Did he really have a chance to do that when he was dealing with all the other bullshit?
If out of everything going on, if you believe the election is rigged, that should be one of the number one pieces of bullshit you should be dealing with. You're going around talking about Colin Kaepernick needs to be kicked off the field. Why not go and fix the election?
All that stuff is just bravado speak. Okay, Trump's a populist. Okay. He gets on a roll and he starts saying some really off the cuff shit.
But think about that. You don't flew out because Trump held rallies his entire presidency. The time you spent traveling to these cities to hold rallies, why not fix our election?
Well, that also goes down to a states' rights issue. You know, each state is different.
Then why are you on the phone talking?
Why do we have 50 plus days of early voting in Pennsylvania?
But then I go back to my original point. If it goes down to a states' right issue, then once you lose, why are you calling the states?
I don't know. I have no idea. There's a million things that he should have done that we all thought he should have done that he didn't get accomplished that could have been accomplished if he would have had the ability to do his job, which nobody let him do his job.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm still going back to my original comment there, Beard, is that you're saying he was constantly being attacked by the liberals, but I'm pointing out this man had no problem taking trips to do rally after rally after rally. Could he not have gotten some of this stuff accomplished instead of being on Air Force One to go talk to the choir, people who are already going to vote for you?
Well, hell, the only time he really took off was to go play golf, and everyone gave him crap about that.
Well, they did that to Obama. They're going to do that to everybody. Rush Limbaugh was...
I know, but he never, you know, though, in his term, he never actually took a vacation.
Really?
He did not take a vacation. Like I said, he might have taken a day or two off to go play some golf because you got to get away and you got to breathe. You got to have your moment of zen and your comfort space.
Like I said, I'm hearing what you're saying, Beard, but I'm seeing thousands of tweets in the middle of the night. I'm seeing dozens of rallies, and you're telling me he had no time to deal with the election that he told us was rigged from day one.
Well, is he supposed to work 24 hours a day?
Is he supposed to tweet? Is he supposed to tweet?
Wait. There were tweets in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Because the man really only gets about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day.
You're telling me that man had no time at all to deal with one of the biggest issues in our nation's history, a stolen election?
Man, I don't know. But like I said, this all comes down to individual states.
Beard, he went to wait, Beard, he went to North Korea to talk to Kim Jong-un. We didn't get shit out of that. Why not go to these states and handle this?
He went to North Korea and he kind of calmed down. He kind of calmed down Kim Jong-un. You remember after that, there weren't any more missile tests. Then the missile tests started right back up under Joe Biden.
You're talking about fixing an election that could be something, the implications of that could literally be decades, if not generations long, versus calming down Kim Jong-un for a season.
Well, you know, I mean, he's trying. Not only has he got to be the world's shoulder to cry on and everybody's sympathy basket, and then he has to do this and he has to do that. He was trying to do the best he could with what he had on some of the premises. And, you know, yeah, if you're going to if you got to go over there and actually talk to somebody and say, hey, we need to tone this down some. You need to come down a little bit off your high horse there, and you need to stop firing rockets and doing missile tests. Okay? Because Taiwan, which I hate to tell everybody, China's about to go. China is chomping at the bits to take over Taiwan.
Speaking of China, in
proxy war number 3. Proxy war number 3. I needed to really just relay a quick tidbit, and I'll get off.
Okay, go.
Okay. How many Marianne Williamson fans or potential voters did we have in your crowd?
Almost none. Marianne Williamson, none.
We talk about people. Joe Biden talks about democracy. Do you know that in Maine, they basically forced her off the ballot? So there was 7 million people's right to democracy just out the window.
Is that something new? You do realize in 2020 there were 4 Republicans that wanted to primary Trump, and several Republican states put them off the ballot as well.
Okay. Then why do you think RFK got out of the race?
Because he's not a Democrat and they didn't like him.
Well,
they got out.
Anyway, that's regardless. They're taking the people that are screaming about democracy are the ones that are chipping away and taking away everybody's right to have a choice. Just like the Colorado case. In case anyone didn't know, and they can look this up. There's a gentleman named Bookbinder on Joe Biden's. He's on one of his councils. As a matter of fact, it's the council for border security, and. He's the one he's the one that brought the Colorado thing to the Supreme Court of Colorado.
Okay.
He's the main one to get that ball rolling. So everyone screams a dictator, you know, he's a dictator, tyrant, dictator.
He's admitting it.
Here's somebody who is physically doing dictator shit.
Okay. Well, let me I'll let you go here. You said you had to go, but I just want to say this real quick. You talked about the liberals being the ones screaming about democracy and removing people's right to choose. You do realize that is a choice phrase for you to make. Removing the right to choose. Is that the phrase you really want to use?
Removing the right to choose?
Yeah.
If somebody's sitting there, if they're making it possible for your choices to be limited, I don't know what else there is.
Would you tell that to a mom that's pregnant, that you're losing your right to choose with the Democrats?
Okay, that's a states' rights issue as well.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I gotta move it on. All right, fair enough.
You guys have a good one. I'm glad I ruffled some feathers. So, but anyway, you guys have a Merry Christmas, and maybe we'll get through this with all of our fingers and toes intact.
I don't think so, but come on back anytime, even if you don't have your whole hand. Appreciate it.
What? Here's one last thing. You are the only one on the left that I follow.
Oh shit!
Because you give us a chance to speak without being attacked, bombarded, ganged up on, muted, blocked. Unless one of us gives you a reason to block us.
I've only blocked one person in a year and a half I've done this, and it was because they typed in the comments, "Oh, not this guy again, please block me." So I'm like, fuck it, I'll block you. That's the only person I've ever blocked. Appreciate you coming in.
I do, man. I appreciate you. Like I said, you know, I don't know, man. But anyway, you have a great rest of the day. To the rest of everybody in the crowd, y'all have a great day. Be safe. Love who you're with. Remember all the good memories. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad, and do all that good shit.
All right. Appreciate it. The Bearded Truth, always a pleasure. Looking in the comments, lock Trump up. No, I'll say this. I said the same thing during the Trump era. Everybody is entitled to their day in court. Tap the screen. We got 1,000+ in here. Get your boy up to 50,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Merry Christmas, everyone. For you guys who like that happy holidays shit, happy holidays to you. But Merry Christmas, tap the screen. Program always will be MAGA friendly. 2024 is going to be an interesting year. It's a hell of a lot of hurdles in place of President Trump. If he prevails, he will be probably one of the most diligent, consistent, victorious presidents in history. A lot of hurdles that he got to overcome. 91 indictments. And with this Michigan issue, there might be some more stuff on the way. Listen, I'm going to give you my own spiel, and you guys can shoot it down. I hope to get some more folks on the right. Let me know where I'm getting it wrong, but I don't believe the president should be talking to low-level staffers. I just don't, even if you truly believe something is wrong. Can you imagine the pressure of getting a phone call from somebody like the president actively telling you if you don't do what I'm suggesting, your career might be in danger? It really reeks of Ruby Freeman, who has claimed that people were calling her and threatening her and all kinds of shit, or Brett Kavanaugh for you folks on the right. You don't want that kind of smoke, as they often say. If Trump called me and told me you better not sign, I'm not going to sign it. I'm simple as that. You're on the phone telling me you're going to give me a lawyer and all that. Now all of a sudden I'm going down for potential election violations and shit like that. And you see with Rudolph Giuliani, I can't expect him to help me out. You see what's happening with the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys. He's not helping those guys out. But if he calls you, you're going to feel obligated to do that. The president of the United States is on the phone telling me not to do something. I'm going to do it, no matter if I'm left or right. The amount of pressure on that individual is insane. Doesn't matter how he felt the election was being ran or if people were cheating or not. He should not be on that phone call. You should never condone that. Absolutely never condone somebody of that level calling somebody that is literally a peon down at the bottom. That's almost like the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky type shit. It's an abuse of power. You shouldn't be doing this with somebody that low who may feel like I don't have a choice. I mean, even if he fires me, if Trump goes on a rally and mentions your name and says you did the wrong thing, you need to move. Don't go home. You know, Monopoly, don't collect $200. Don't go home. It ain't safe. It's not safe. So there's no way he should have been on the phone with this person. You shouldn't be making excuses for that. That's my opinion, but you guys can give me the opposite. Looking in the comments, if only you knew, shout out to Celine Dion, don't you see what is happening? No, that's why I'm here, to hear what you folks have to say. I may be the host. What do I say on every program? I don't tell you what you want to hear. I listen to what you have to say. Going back to the box, tap the screen, get your boy up to 50,000. I do appreciate that. Moving the program on, we're going to go straight to Lauren Danae Karcher. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. What happened in Michigan? Am I getting it wrong, Lauren? Lauren, I think it said, okay, well, whoever that was, they must have had a phone call or whatever. We'll keep it moving. Came on and went out. Going straight back to the box in honor of the actor Tom Cruise. We'll bring up Maverick. Are you expecting Republicans to have integrity? Yikes, Andy. Maverick, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing there, brother?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. What am I getting wrong? President calling a low-level staffer. Is that cool?
Well, this is something new on me. I just heard you talking about it a minute ago. I don't know.
I'll go ahead and summarize it for you, and you let me know. If it's not going to be played as much on, if you're watching OAN, Newsmax, or even Fox, it's not going to get as much coverage because it doesn't help Trump. You got to tune into the left-wing networks, but I'll tell you this, they got an audio recording of President Trump during the 2020 election talking to a low-level staffer with the RNC chairman. Her name is Ronna McDaniel, telling a low-level staffer not to certify the election results in Michigan, citing what Trump believed, that they had more votes than actual voters, suggesting that maybe dead people were voting and things like that. But Trump is on the phone. The RNC chairman tells the staffer, don't sign this. Don't worry, we'll get you a lawyer. And Trump is like, yeah, we'll take care of it. Do you think that that's kosher?
Well, see, therein lies the thing of what to believe and what not to believe, because I read some things and seen some things last night and it looked true to the world, that Trump, the courts decided, the high courts decided he wouldn't be able to run in this country at all.
Wow.
But then everybody's still talking about him running. But now back to what you were saying. I'm just asking you, where did you hear this and where did you get the facts?
It's coming from the
proven?
it's coming from the Detroit Free Press. Let me ask it to you this way, because you said you don't know what to believe and not to believe. I agree with you. A lot of false information is out there. If you felt this being presented was an actual fact, do you think now it could be a lie? I'm not here to pretend like the media is always being honest. But let's say if you felt confident that this was true, do you think Trump would have been wrong for doing it?
Yes, definitely. Right is right and wrong is wrong. That's the whole problem with this country right now and what's going on. They have turned everything around. You crap in your kitchen and you eat out of your toilet. See, I grew up, thank you. I grew up, right is right and wrong is wrong. Hot is hot and cold is cold. And, I don't care what they try to do to change it, but those are facts that are facts.
Yeah.
Okay, we know that. Now, yeah, if he did that, he's wrong. If that's total truth.
But what about the part? Wait, hang on. I'll let you continue. What about even him calling? What about him even calling in Georgia and saying, "Find me 11,000 votes" in the middle of an election? Should he be telling these people what to do while the election is going on?
If he's trying to do it illegally, no.
How do you know the difference? How do you know if he's doing it legally or not?
You don't. But see, you don't know what either side's doing when you get down to what they're trying to do here. They're both running to be president of the United States.
Yeah, but nobody's suggesting that Biden.
Sink to lows.
Yeah, but nobody is suggesting that Biden was actually calling people in the middle of the election trying to get them to do stuff.
Well, see, there you go. There's different ways of doing things. He might not have been calling people in the middle of the election. He might have already had stuff set up, which I'm almost positive that's what happened. That's my opinion. But my question is, first of all, what kind of president blackmails the country? You either give me $60 billion or I'm going to send your children over there to fight Russians. That's the one question I got. And then the other question is, the major question that nobody's talking about. Where are the children? Where are the children? The missing children. Nobody knows where the missing children are.
What missing children are you discussing?
The border that they post and put places that they don't even know where they're at now.
You're talking about missing immigrant children?
Yes.
Well,
they're missing.
That's been happening since the Obama administration. Under Obama, they were separating families. Under Trump, they were separating families. Under Trump, there are parents who didn't get their children back. That's been happening.
I know, but see, this is where people are making a mistake. Yes, we've had a border problem. Okay, maybe in the range of 200 to 1,000, maybe a day we're sneaking across here and there. We've got 12,000 illegal immigrants every day now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, wait, real quick. Andy and Tammy and you folks that are sitting, I do thank you. Wow, especially that snowfall. But what I'm trying to get across, I get the border sucks. I'm not here to defend the liberals on the border. You're right about that. But we're talking about the fact that the president is calling election staffers. If that comes out to be true, do you believe that should disqualify him from running?
Of course. If it comes out to be true fact. I mean, you got to prove it without a shadow of a doubt. But a lot of this stuff they're doing is not proven without a shadow of a doubt. They're just convicting him right off the bat. Right. Somebody says he did this, he's done, he's convicted. They don't prove it. Nobody's proven nothing.
You do realize you do realize what I told you happened is they recorded that.
Okay. Well, then he should be disqualified.
All right. We making progress. We making progress.
I'm in the middle of the road here now. I used to be on one side or the other, but then after seeing everything that's going on, I have to say no. I've got to get back on my morals and what's right and what's wrong. See, because they're using all these tactics and stuff that are totally wrong regardless. And they're tearing this country apart. And there are so many things going on now that a lot of people don't want to believe it's going to happen or going to go on. It's just so much. But
let me ask you though. We got 5 choices for 2024 so far. We got Biden, we got Ramaswamy, DeSantis, Haley, Christie, Trump. Who do you favor out of that audience?
Well, when I look at Chris Christie, I think about Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sorry.
You're fat shaming. You're fat. You don't think Trump is a bit overweight?
No, I think he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's not professional enough. The stuff that comes out of his mouth. Now, Ramaswamy, I think he hits things right on the nose, and he seems to be spewing facts. Seems to be, but you don't know.
Okay.
You know, you're not him, and he's not you.
All right.
But as far as being leading